Hey guys, it's Daniel. Welcome back.
Kurt Cobain once deliberately sabotaged an important business dinner in New York City by getting stoned during the dinner. Kurt Cobain's relationship with fame was a complicated one. He certainly didn't like the bureaucratic side of it, the politics of fame. The following is from Kurt Cobain's official biographer, Michael Azerrad, where he discusses what exactly happened at that business dinner with Kurt. This is from the article Michael Azerrad wrote for The New Yorker in September of 2021. Quote, "After I finished working on the book, Kurt and I became friends. I don't claim to have been his exclusive confidant or anything like that, but every once in a while, the phone would ring in the wee hours of the morning. It was ridiculous that he'd call at such an hour. He didn't seem to have considered the time difference between Seattle and New York, or maybe he thought that everyone else was as nocturnal as he was. But I always picked up. I worried that he might be in a crisis, and I didn't ever want to regret that I'd ignore such a crucial call. Usually, Kurt would want to rail, sometimes volcanically, about management or the label or the band. And after he'd gotten it all off his chest, he'd suddenly realize that he'd been talking completely about himself, pause and ask, 'So, how are you?' In July of 1993, Nirvana came to New York to play a show at the Rosalind Ballroom, a former dance hall in Midtown Manhattan. It was for the CMJ convention, which catered to college radio stations, a key platform for promoting the forthcoming In Utero. While he was in town, Kurt had a business dinner with a bunch of the grown-ups, as he disdainfully referred to the various executives involved in the band's affairs. The dinner took place at a fancy restaurant on the east side. He asked me to come along, I suppose so he wouldn't be completely alone with business types. Or maybe he wanted me to see for myself what he was always complaining about. 8 of us sat around a large circular table. I sat directly across from Kurt, out of conversation range, but I could see that he was uncomfortable. He was withdrawn and not responding much to anything anyone said to him. Everyone tried to pretend like nothing was wrong. They all ordered food, appetizers, entrees, and wine. But Kurt only ordered a slice of cake. Someone asked him, "That's all you're going to have, Kurt?" Kurt just kind of mumbled. Kurt excused himself to go to the bathroom. He was gone a long time. I considered the possibility that he had sneaked out of the restaurant. That would have been brilliant. But eventually, just as I was starting to think that someone should go check on him, he returned. He was high, dazed, his eyelids nearly closed. He was nodding slightly. It was the first time I'd ever been sure that Kurt was high on heroin. Surely, everyone else at the table could see this too, but no one acknowledged it in any way, and the conversation continued around Kurt as if he were a senile grandparent. It was obvious to me that Kurt got high at the dinner deliberately as a self-destructive protest. The ostensible purpose of the dinner, aside from dining at a fancy restaurant and putting the bill on the expense account, was to discuss some pressing business decision with Kurt. But Kurt was in no condition to make any decisions. When the check was paid, everyone scattered. So I found myself standing on the sidewalk with Kurt, who was stoned out of his mind on heroin in a city he didn't know well. I walked him back to his hotel, holding onto his arm as if he were an elderly person in case he stumbled. I made sure that he didn't walk into other people or traffic.